Up here's where your biggest risks hide: leaks, mold, and expensive damage. Most commercial roofs fail slowly until they fail big. Why rip it off when you can restore it? Our silicone coatings stop leaks, prevent mold, and extend your roof life without the high replacement cost. It's a 30-year watertight roof, energy efficient, leak-free, and half the cost of replacement. And it's backed by GE's manufacturer warranties. Facility managers love this. No disruption, no tear off, and long-term protection for your property. Trust Absolute Restoration for your commercial roof.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Good evening and welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard, joined alongside Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon, live in West Point on his school visit. We'll talk to him here in just a moment. First, let's get into what we'll be discussing here at the 5 o'clock hour. And a big headline is that latest drought monitor. Yes, it is out and it's not looking pretty. Those areas are just continuing to expand as dry conditions continue to persist. We'll look at that in more detail. But we are seeing more rainfall for our Thursday in addition to what we saw for Wednesday. But that last of the showers will clear out, and from here on out, not looking good. And that drought monitor will probably be worse heading into parts of next week. But that high school and college football forecast, at least with those dry conditions, we're shaping up for a very nice forecast with those. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be watching those isolated showers clear on out. 20% coverage around 6, 10% there closer to 9. And I'm joined alongside Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon. He is out and about right now talking about what conditions are like in West Point and giving us a live look at his school visit he took earlier on today.
Yeah, it was a nice day in West Point a little earlier on today when we spoke to some kids at the school there. We'll show that video a little later on in this broadcast as well. I'm actually in Columbus this evening. You see Sweet Peppers behind me here, of course, one of our supporters here on Mississippi Live Weather. But I'm here for a different reason, supporting St. Jude. We're doing a celebrity wait night here at the Columbus Sweet Peppers location, and the proceeds, the tips, that we generate, or I attempt to generate. The fact I'm not a full-on typical waiter person and I need to keep my hands clean. But the tips we generate will go to help St. Jude. Aaron Sanders, who we'll meet here in just a moment, running the marathon. We're trying to raise money for part of his process, and we're definitely going to want to check in with him and see that's the case. But ultimately, we want you to come down and join us here in Columbus at the Sweet Peppers location. It's going on between now and 8 p.m. And of course, you'll pick up some great food here and help out an amazing cause trying to end childhood cancer. And can you really get a better cause than that? So Gabe, yeah, Columbus, Sweet Peppers location, 5 to 8 p.m. We'll talk to Aaron here after your main weather segment later on this broadcast. We'll also show our video from a school visit we did in West Point earlier on as well. That's coming up a little bit later on in the broadcast here. But Gabe, sending it back to you in the studio with a lot of puffy cumulus clouds here in the Columbus area. You can see some of those kind of behind me back there. Not a lot of precipitation falling out of those, but sprinkles from time to time, obviously, right?
Exactly right. And Matt, that's essential heading into the drought monitor because that did come out today, the latest outlook. And as you can see, that level 3 drought now extending into parts of Yalobusha, Oxford, Marshall County even included within that, and parts of Tunica County as far west as there. But that level 2 drought, the one you really need to pay attention to, our moderate drought, now extending into Lee County, Chickasaw County, Tishomingo County. And the thing with that, the reason why we're concerned, is that we already have a burn ban in place until, I believe, October 19th for Lee County. And since that outlook is getting worse, would not be surprised if more burn bans were instated going forward. So it's just because of those dry conditions, that dry weather sticking around and worsening, it's just one of those things that's an outcome from that equation. So also looking up there towards Alcorn County, some of that level 3 drought getting in there, kind of wrapping around in this, looks like a crab claw almost, but dipping there into Tishomingo and Alcorn County, and level 4 drought getting closer, not fully in North Mississippi yet, but the fact that it's showing up that extreme drought, unfortunately, it's just not exactly a recipe for success, and that drought monitor will just continue to worsen even into parts of next week. But fortunately, like you mentioned, Matt, we did have a few showers in the area, Tishomingo County, the last of those, but now moving into Franklin and Marion County. That's the focal point right now, but I mean, this line of showers has been moving through our area all afternoon long. You can see right there towards Cherokee, Alabama, Red Bay, Vina, and then all along I-22. So folks out there driving, make sure to drive safely because those wet roadways can definitely catch catch you by surprise. So going over the last 1 hour loop, this has been about 20, maybe even 30 miles an hour. And as you can see, a little bit electric with about 30 to 40 strikes over the last 30 minutes or so. That's going to be primarily up there towards the Tishomingo County region as that moves east into northwest Alabama, and then even back behind it towards New Albany. We can see a few showers popping up towards Highway 30. Those getting a little bit more, I'm going to say intense, but intense is not in the form of like strong or severe. I'm talking about more with the heavy rainfall, and that inching closer, passing Highway 30 right now. And as that extends about, we'll take it 20 miles an hour, moving in that east-southeast fashion. We can see getting close to Halltown, 510, Alpine, 514, Jericho, 520, Bethany, 525, Guntown, 541, and Unity by about 6 o'clock. So that's just one of those isolated cells that we're watching on the back end of this. We know we have a Northeast football game tonight, and so folks up there want to stay dry, maybe catching a few sprinkles there from a few of those showers, but from my favorite weather watcher out in the field, my wife, she told me that it's just a few light sprinkles. It's not exactly anything too heavy, and that means, and she was telling me this, she was being a meteorologist, that means those cloud heights are not as tall, and so those raindrops can't get as big, and so that results in less significant rainfall. As we take a look right here at our accumulated rainfall totals, this shows exactly that. So even though there's rain showing up on radar, it's not anything too impactful. Boonville getting the most of it, about 1/2 of an inch, or should I say east side of Boonville, and even up there around Alcorn County towards the Kossuth region, just under 1/2 of an inch. We can pinpoint some exact areas where they did get 1/2 of an inch, but the overall impacts, we're talking more 1/4 of an inch, and really just slightly above that. So it's not exactly been an impactful forecast, not like what we saw yesterday, but no complaints. I'm not complaining one bit. We need every drop that we can get. So why is all this happening? Well, you might remember yesterday we talked about that frontal boundary that has continued to extend across North Mississippi, now clearing on out as we get into our Thursday afternoon. So this is where the good starts coming, with some of that drier and cooler air. As we expand it out and go over the analysis into this evening, our futurecast, you can see that isolated showers do stick around, but very light in fashion. This is what we'd call that wraparound moisture. So I'll expand it out even further to kind of walk you through this picture. But what we have is a surface low up there around Vermont and New Hampshire. So that's really where the main action is happening, and along this leading frontal boundary. But we also have an upper level low that's happening right there towards the East Tennessee and North Carolina region. And that's giving us some isolated showers here in North Mississippi as it wraps around a little bit of that moisture. So that's going to continue to linger into our Thursday evening plans. Again, not significant, and primary impacts will be over there towards northwest Alabama, but the rest of us staying dry, that northerly wind dominating our area, and we'll continue to enjoy the effects of that with that cooler and drier forecast heading into the early start of our Friday morning. You do see a little bit of moisture, again, that wraparound moisture trying to circulate back in, but main impacts we'll see with that is over there towards northwest Alabama. If you have Mississippi in your address, you're probably staying on the drier side. Next 24, 63 around 6 a.m., 68 by 9, 78 there towards noon, and afternoon, 80 degrees. And no, it's not because of moisture in the air. We're sunshine all day long. This is a result of that pattern changing and much cooler and drier conditions moving in place. Hey, did you ask for fall? Well, now it's trying to get back into that forecast. So enjoy it, get out there and support your local teams for your Friday night football forecast. That's one of the things we'll be talking about in more detail here in the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60. So keep it here for the very latest if you're heading out for those Friday night games, or for your Saturday games, or if you just want to know what to expect for this weekend. We have all of that information coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 5 here in the next minute. I clicked off of it. I knew I did. All right, bear with me one moment. You didn't see that? La, 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 la.
One of the reasons I've been a longtime patient at Tupelo Smiles is they're very sensitive of my time. When I come into the office, I'm always ushered right in the back, and they start serving my needs that day. They always take care of the patient.
Get ready for a night of inspiration, laughter, and support. Join us on Saturday, October 4th at 6 p.m. at the Tupelo Cotton Mill, where outstanding men from our community will walk in her shoes. You'll hear powerful stories from survivors and caregivers, enjoy delicious food and drinks, and experience live entertainment in an evening filled with fellowship, fun, and hope. All proceeds go to support those bravely fighting cancer. This event is powered by Wear It Well.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, I was talking about weather watchers at the start of the show, but we also had others around the field that were submitting their pictures, and Summer there in Etta submitting this great shot. It looks like it could be a double rainbow now that I'm looking at it. I just saw the main one earlier, but I think there's a little bit of a hue of another one just on the outskirts of it. But this was over there in the Etta community on the west side of Union County. So folks over there know they got a decent downpour, and this is a result of it with some of that ponding on the roadways and that beautiful rainbow as that sunshine moved in after those clouds cleared. Randy and Amory captured this. This was a great shot of some of those darker clouds off there in the distance. Again, nothing severe, not even anything strong. If anything, just a few rumbles of thunder, but that was the strongest we got with a few of these spotty showers. Looking on Mississippi Live Weather Radar right now, you can see that a large part of that line starting to move across the area there towards northwest Alabama. For folks in Russellville and Hamilton, Alabama, let's track that out for you here real quick. This is still moving at about, I would say, 20 miles an hour or so. Let's actually, I'm going to get an exact line on that. So I'm going to put this in analysis mode here real quick, and we're going to go over the last hour. Let me loop this here real quick, and we're going to measure this out to really get pinpoint accuracy to let you guys know the best heads up over the next couple of minutes. So let me track out the southern edge of the storm, and as you can see right there on the southeast side of Lee County, yeah, I would say 20 to 30 miles an hour, not an impossibility on this line of storms. Getting that leading edge right there, and again extending it all the way towards Vina. Of course, that latest scan comes out. We're going to take it at about, I'm going to take it to 30, just because better to be on the safe side. And as you can see right there, Barton 512 on there towards Atwood 517, Woodland 520, and we're talking about the Hodges community at 526. So as we look at that, let me get this real quick, and we're going to up this to a little bit more of those populated locations. We're talking Hamilton 527, Tuscumbia 533, Littleville 536, Muscle Shoals 538, and the Florence region up there at UNA about 539. So folks up there just dealing with some moderate showers, but that's really the most to expect. Everywhere else it's real isolated in nature. We tracked that one around Union County, another one northern Lafayette, but again, these aren't exactly anything too significant. If anything, just giving us a little bit additional hundredths of an inch of rainfall. So that's a good part for our forecast, especially for any of those heading out to Northeast Community College, where the Tigers will be taking or having a game this evening. 73 around pregame, 20% chance of rainfall, 10% by halftime, and 68 by that final snap. Now with spotty showers, you might get lucky and stay on the drier side, but just in case, have that rain gear in place, because we don't want you to get rained on as this game carries on through. But no significant impacts can be expected. A lot of these showers do dissipate on out. You can see Thursday evening around 7 p.m., very isolated in nature, and into those overnight hours, we're talking about a dry forecast dominated by those northerly winds cycling on in. So this is going to be a fantastic outlook, and especially into those evening plans and into your Thursday morning or Friday morning as well. As you can see right here, dry conditions persist, and including some of those drier conditions by the time we head out the door for tomorrow morning. But I want to say that the reason I want to walk through that forecast is because not only do we have a football game in Boonville, we also have a cause that we're partnering with down at Sweet Peppers in Columbus. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon joining us down there with what exactly that cause is. And he also took a visit in West Point, and that's our game of the week coming up this Friday. So folks over there are excited. He has the very latest on that, and he joins us now live in Columbus for the very latest.
Well, hello there, Gabe. I didn't have my gizmo in place. I just heard you tossing. You know how that goes. And I bet this is going to flip. So get ready for the world to turn over for a moment. And are we back? There we go. Bet you didn't think you were going to get a ride as this. But yes, we're here at Sweet Peppers in Columbus as we are raising money for St. Jude. You know, of course, childhood cancer is...
Okay, I know exactly what happened. Was it that the emergency alert that took you down? I'm going to give him a second to get it back up. So let's go through this forecast into your Friday morning, and we'll try and get back to him here in just a moment. So low temperatures for your Friday morning. You can see upper 50s, low 60s. So a comfortable start to our Friday with those cooler conditions in place. That northerly wind, a big dominating factor in that extended forecast. But if we carry Futurecast into our Friday evening, we know that that's a big day with football games in place. And like I mentioned, game of the week in West Point taking on Tupelo. Battle of the waves. Who's the better wave? Who's the bigger wave, should I say? We'll find out tomorrow night, 7:30 in the morning. That northerly wind still dominating the area with clear skies. 9 a.m., same thing. And let's carry that forecast into those lunch hours, and you might notice very little difference. The main areas we're expecting those showers to form is northwest Alabama with some of that wraparound moisture, but even those chances, little to none. So have that rain gear ready if you're over there towards Lamar, Pickens, Marion, and Franklin County, Alabama. But that's really the end of our chances when it comes to our viewing area. So 1:30 in your afternoon, still seeing those dry conditions stick around. 3 o'clock, just going to be a beautiful forecast. And as we head more into that game time forecast, the dry conditions continue to stick around, even there towards northwest Alabama. That little bit of moisture we do have clearing on out, and we'll see those dry conditions persist for our Friday night game of the week, for our Friday night game anywhere, whether it's our game of the week or your game at your local high school. High temperatures, 83 degrees as our high temperatures, not too bad at all. So let's walk through that high school game of the week forecast. 78 pregame, 72 by halftime, and 66 by that final snap. Not only is it dry, we're talking clear conditions with plenty of sunshine. So if you're not going to a football game, you're missing out. But if you have other plans, it's still a great forecast for it, and highly recommend you get outside for any of those evening plans. 8 p.m. still with those dry conditions, 10 p.m. clear skies all across the region. That'll continue to stick around for our Saturday forecast. So if you can't get outside Friday night, Saturday is your day, and really the entire weekend as that sunshine reigns supreme and a large part of that moisture sticks out there towards the east in the Atlantic. For folks out there, we know we have a game out there. We'll talk about that in just a moment because some of those rain showers could be impacting some of our Roll Tide fans. But looking at that Saturday evening forecast, still a beautiful one. So if you're celebrating in the district or the square, either one will be a great place to be for your Saturday night. And we're expecting a big win. 2 ranked teams coming to town, and we need to take care of business. High temperatures a little bit higher, talking around our seasonable average, 84, 85 degrees. But our SEC football forecast, LSU coming to town to take on Ole Miss. Battle of 2 ranked teams, so 80 degrees first play, 82 by halftime, and 75 by that final snap. This is even a few degrees less than what we had yesterday on our Saturday forecast. So what that means is we're seeing cooler conditions prevail, and that northerly wind bringing in a little bit more of a breeze, a stronger breeze, going to cool us off even more. Same thing down in Starkville, Tennessee taking on Mississippi State in the middle of the afternoon. So this is as good of a forecast as you can get for a middle of the afternoon game. 82 first play, 81 halftime, 72 towards the final snap. At most, we'll see a few passing clouds, but no rainfall expected. But when we jump out there towards Athens, Georgia, kickoff 76 degrees, 69 by halftime, and 65 by that final snap. Cool conditions, if you ask me, and I'm not complaining one bit about that, but kickoff is at 6:30, so it makes sense. But rain chances up to about 30% around kickoff, so have that rain gear ready as chances are starting to climb just a bit. Some isolated showers sticking around that forecast there for the Bulldogs taking on the Crimson Tide. Should be a great game, another ranked matchup. Again, I will hold firm to the fact that it should have been 3 ranked matchups this weekend. They've done Mississippi State wrong, but after this weekend, they'll see what we deserve. Friday, 82 degrees, 84 by Saturday, and 86 towards Sunday. Of course, dry conditions prevail well into early next week, but we're not expecting anything severe, anything rainfall-wise. That is a good outlook for our forecast. But speaking of alerts, we got one earlier today that took Matt off air for a brief moment, but we have him back live in Columbus with a great cause, and he's going to tell us more about it. So take it away, Matt.
Yeah, I guess that emergency alert took us down, but we're back here in Columbus. With me, Aaron Sanders. Thank you for inviting us here. We're at Sweet Peppers Deli, and again in Columbus from 5 to 9 tonight, raising money for St. Jude. If you hadn't called me, we wouldn't be here, and you're going above and beyond that to try to raise money as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. We're my daughter and I are actually signed up to be St. Jude Heroes. We'll be running the marathon together to raise money for St. Jude. So we're excited to do that for sure.
Okay. And so that's basically what we're doing now, trying to get people to kind of come on down. You know, why is St. Jude important to you and your family?
Well, my daughter actually, one of my daughters is here serving tonight, was at the place in Jackson Children's Hospital, and she actually had something called adenovirus, and we were out for a month. But we had to pay for all of our expenses, and so after
that was not cheap.
That was not cheap, and so I got involved with St. Jude back 2017 and started running for St. Jude to raise money just for the families. I know what it feels like to go through something like that, and just it's a burden, and you know what I'm saying, you want to be there for people, and if you could do something, you got the ability to do it. God wants us to do things like that. So
I couldn't agree more. I mean, and the fact that you saw a need and immediately tried to meet that need, it's incredible. That's not something everybody does. And so, congratulations to you, which is not what this is about.
Yeah, no.
But it is about raising money. So, how can people help out tonight?
Just come out and get something to eat. You can leave a tip, and all that goes towards St. Jude. If you want to write a check directly to St. Jude, you could do that as well. And that's how you can help out tonight. And if you don't have time to make it by tonight, you can always swing by the rest of the week and drop off a check for St. Jude, or if you want to get up and run yourself, I think it's still time to sign up to be a St. Jude hero.
Thank you for not looking too closely at me, because I would not make it.
Oh, come on. You're going to run it with me, right?
That's why I'm helping out. So, I am as bad a shape as I've ever been in my whole life.
I hope my daughter doesn't beat me this time in the race, though.
Well, okay. So how old is she?
She's 16.
The odds are pretty good.
I know. She's never ran that long, but she has ran a half, and she after mile 6 she smoked me. So we'll see, though. I've been training pretty good.
Well, I'm sure you're going to do great, and we of course need your help. So come by here, the Sweet Peppers location. Of course, we're just along 45, and give them the exact address.
2017 Highway 45 North, Columbus, Mississippi.
So from 5 to 8 o'clock tonight. I'll be trying to help out. We'll be chatting probably more than actually bussing tables, but we'll be there trying to help out to raise money for St. Jude. And every dollar makes a difference. So thank you so much for all of you that support. And, got to give a shout out, of course, to the old place there. Gave away the St. Jude Dream Home today. Give us a big way in which people, helped out. Concerned, even the Lawpon household behind the scenes. There were a lot of tickets last week or so, but in the last 10 minutes, folks at home helped sell out for that Dream Home. So again, just thank you so much for everything that y'all did to that. So thank you for having us out here.
Thank you.
We'll get to doing some serving here in a minute. We'll check back in during our 6 o'clock broadcast. Gabe, we also had the opportunity to go to West Point today to talk to the kids there about what the name of this is, weather, Mississippi weather in particular. And what ran up that direction, Gabe, if you play that video there, you'll see that the folks definitely had a good time. We had the opportunity to, again, talk about severe weather, tornadoes, the reason the sky is blue. And they did some cheering as well. Gave me all the West Point gear. It's a big game of the week between West Point and Tupelo this week. And they were definitely excited and ready about that game. And the support, of course, that means. Again, appreciate all the good folks there for being so welcoming to me, and even had a few of those folks dressing up and wearing the suspenders, the whole thing as well. So that was definitely a fun experience there in West Point, and we're trying to do more and more school visits. I'll actually be over in Red Bay tomorrow before our game of the week when that shows up in Tupelo later in the evening. But yeah, we'll be in Red Bay tomorrow. But this evening, we're down here at Sweet Peppers Deli in Columbus. Come see us 5 to 8 p.m. raising money for St. Jude. All tips go to St. Jude and trying to end childhood cancer. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon in Columbus. Gabe, we'll send it back to you in studio.
Well, Matt Beach last week. You're in West Point earlier today. Now Columbus as we wrap up the evening. And then Red Bay tomorrow, Tupelo towards the evening. Golly, you could call me one day and tell me that you're in China, and I'd believe you because that's how much traveling you've been doing here recently. But latest look at that 7-day forecast. Of course, we are tracking those dry conditions towards this weekend. Drought monitor not exactly looking ideal, but we'll be looking at in more detail. And of course, your football forecast coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We also have coming up at 6 latest developments in the tropics. We might be seeing impacts here in the United States. We'll be taking a look at that and what to expect in that extended forecast coming up at the 6 o'clock hour. So that's all the more reason to have that app downloaded so that way you can get the very latest information on what to expect with your weather here in Mississippi. I've talked to folks as well that were down in Florida and they were getting alerts there and they were just amazed by it. And I mean, it's just an incredible app. So if you don't have it, it doesn't matter where you are, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, even though it says Mississippi Live Weather, it works anywhere in the world. So we appreciate your support and just making all of this possible. And we will see you back here coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 and our broadcast after that on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. And you can always tune in for our morning shows at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley, giving you the latest on your Friday morning for what to expect for your weekend ahead. We'll see you back here in just a couple minutes.
At Room to Room, did you know our specialty is custom ordered upholstery? Get the furniture you want and the fabric and color selection you want. With our free design service, we won't let you make a mistake.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.